Hello, babies.
I'll give a say. The reason is because it's like Ray just, all right, let's just keep going. Like when you hear him read the questions, it's like a legit thing. Like this is a conversation. Like there's a legit like debate and conversation. Ray's just like, oh yeah, okay. So moving on.
Yeah,
we got done in like an hour.
When it's the three of us, I go, oh fuck yeah, Ray hasn't talked in 40 minutes. Ray, do you have an opinion on this? No, I agree with both of you. Of course you do. Let's move on.
Because a lot of times, like it's not that I'm snip snapping. It's like I can be reasoned with.
Sure.
With other people cannot be reasoned with. It's that.
Yeah. No, yeah. That's Dr. Big Mac. If anything, he's loyal to everything, even his stupid thoughts. Speaking of being stupid, Red Sox off to a flat start here. So dropped 2 of 3 to the Yankees. Of course, they first game against the Tigers lost 3-1. They did win today. What was that? 5-3.
Yeah, 5-3. Yep.
And they're playing
3-0 Detroit.
That was Tuesday. They won 5-3, and they're playing again today, Wednesday, as this is released. 1 p.m. starts in a row for in Detroit.
In Detroit's weird.
A little bit weird. Maybe they just don't think they can get anybody to go anyway, so might as well play it during the day.
Yeah, there was nobody there. I was watching a lot of it. The benefit of working from home and having Nesson. Sorry, Rich. I got to watch a little bit, but it's been frustrating to watch.
Give me 2 seconds on this, yep. Nesson. You sons of bitches, Nesson or YouTube TV or whoever. It's Nesson because they won't pay to get on the other fucking platforms. I can't watch the Bruins. I can't watch the Red Sox unless I want to pay upwards of $400 for these 2 things on the NHL and MLB packaging. I can't watch it, and I'm not going to watch all the Red Sox games in an entirety. So can I justify paying the $120? Not really, but I can't get Nesson through fucking anything out of market. I can't watch these games. It's ridiculous. It's absurd that they make it so hard. Nesson is not a poor company. You're owned by the fucking Red Sox and the Bruins. They got more money to dump into that network than they can fucking count. Just put some money into it and make it available. Make it its own app for $15 or whatever that I can buy and watch the games.
Oh, you can.
I don't think I can. I've tried everything.
Oh, I thought MLB is doing like a streaming package.
MLB is. Nesson isn't. I can buy just Red Sox games for, I think it's $130 for the season, which I guess isn't that bad when you're breaking down the 7 months of baseball, but it just chaps my ass. Like,
yeah,
I pay for YouTube TV and streaming. I'll pay for the Fubo. I tried the Fubo today. Couldn't get Nesson on there.
It's funny too, because I've always made fun of you guys for like streaming and shit. But when I was like, half here, half at the flop house, I hadn't fully moved the cable over. And
Queen's Landing,
yeah, she was doing just a stream. It's just her and the kids or whatever. And you know me, I need a TV.
Yep.
So I was like, we tried the Fubo. I kept getting like free trials just to do this, or I'd pay like a month just to watch like the NFL and Red Zone or whatever. And I finally moved the cable over.
Right.
But I was like, dude, what the fuck? Like Fubo is like all soccer bullshit. And I'm like, I'm not doing this one just because I'm watching Bruins games. I'll fucking do whatever. But now I just pay Comcast.
I can't find it anywhere. So needless to say, I haven't figured out my option how to watch the Red Sox yet. I will. I'll figure it out, but I haven't caught a lot of, and I was on vacation, Raymond. I haven't caught a lot of these early Sox games. In and out I was during the beginning of this. So I'll throw it over to you, Bill. The early struggles, what do you lend them to? Slow start for the offense. What do you think of the pitching? And just to flash forward in our conversation here, WEEI has already claimed the Red Sox as the best bullpen in baseball.
Yeah, pump your
after 3 games.
Brakes.
So I throw it over to you. Your thoughts on the Red
Ryan
Sox
Brazier last night through a 95 mile an hour
not to get me
fastball.
started on fucking Ryan Brazier.
Listen, up and in, and Javi Baez put about 400 feet in for a fucking game-winning home run. But
how cocked was his neck at the time? That's my only question.
Yeah. Anyways, I think the biggest struggle has obviously been offense, but offense in general is always down in April. I mean, the cold weather. It's the sun is shining right now, and it's 55 out. What's it going to be tonight? If theoretically, if they play tonight, I mean, that's why they're playing these day games in Detroit. if you look at the Central Times, they always do it. That's why there's a lot of off days, and they built in the weather. It sucks. You've seen snow this time of year. You've seen all sorts of shit in these games. Rain. It's just miserable weather. Offense is going to start picking up when the weather starts picking up. And right now, I mean, your best hitter has been out the last 3 games. Trevor Story, I think he was available to maybe run the bases today. I think he got food poisoning. It was non-COVID related, but he got food poisoning or something. I mean, that's a big loss. The lineup right now is the biggest reason. Your offense, your pitching, believe it or not, has kept you in games. Again, which is Michael Walker kept you in the game. You've seen even Evaldi against Garrett Cole. I mean, he kind of gave it back, but it was still 3-3 when he got out after 5. So I mean, you've been in all these games. You've only lost 1-2 run games. I mean, offense has been key. You had one hit going into the 6th or 7th inning last night. It was a home run against Detroit. Same thing today. You didn't get your first hit till the 5th inning. I was watching it, and you're already down 3-0. So I mean, that's been your biggest problem. You got to get your lineup figured out. You need more balance in your lineup. We'll see what happens when Trevor Story can get back in this lineup and play every day. But that's your biggest struggle right now. Bullpen's been a-okay. Whitlock threw 3 today. Looked really, really good. He gave up 1 walk. I mean, they just signed him for another 4-year deal. He looks like a stud. You need to figure out a way to get him in the rotation, start stretching him out a little bit more, because he looks like a legit weapon. Dykeman in the bullpen, he's looked good. I kind of said he could probably close for you before the season, and he struck out what Stanton, Judge, and Joey Gallo, who all have home run power. So I mean,
yep.
I wouldn't say the best
was
in the
asked,
league,
do you want to be the closer? And he said, I don't give a shit. So this
Yeah,
guy's
he
already
had
on
seven
I like this guy.
He had 7 saves last year for Oakland. I mean, he could have he had a little rough stretch. I think he blew 2 in a row, and then Lou Trevino in Oakland kind of took that over and ran with it. But I mean, he could be a good weapon until you figure out what you're going to do with Matt Barnes. Came in yesterday, pitched 1 inning. I think gave up a walk or a hit or a double to Miguel Cabrera, with Jackie Bradley took a bad bounce, a bad beat on it. But you got to figure that out, but it could be. I mean, your bullpen kind of solidified yourself a little bit later in the season when you kind of stopped using Matt Barnes. Hansel Robles kind of looked okay. Garrett Whitlock is your weapon. We'll see. It sounds like they're going to piggyback him off Rich Hill every time they're out, because Rich Hill, 4 innings, 3 runs. He just threw up meatball after meatball, that fucking 2-pitch pitcher. Ugh.
43 years old, whatever. Yeah. Look, I know baseball has changed, and the starting pitcher is not what it used to be even just a couple years ago. However, like the idea of bringing in a guy that can just shut a team down for the first, even if it's the first 3 innings, 4 innings, instead of maybe the first 5 or 6 like it used to be, not even coming close to the 9 complete game type of thing. The Red Sox don't have that without Chris Sale. Evaldi can come and do it every 4th game, maybe. He'll throw a gem, but he's going to be basically.
Yeah, and your boy sure as shit can't do it as a number 2 starter.
No, he can't, but he's not supposed to be a number 2 starter. He's supposed to be a number 3 starter. And don't start this shit talking on Pivetta already, Bill. You lost last year. My boys Evaldi and Pivetta held down their rotation last year. Give him credit where credit is due. But yeah, he might turn into a pumpkin. Like it's certainly a big year for Pivetta. Like he's got to do what he did last year to be considered a solid 3 starter, I think, for this team. Evaldi, I think he's earned it. He's not an ace, but he's earned, like he should be
opening day
solidly in that number 2 spot. But it's Chris Sale that you're missing. It's that guy that can come in every 5 or 6 days with a fragile bitch like that and throw you 6 strong, solid innings and just be that guy. I still think baseball needs that. I still think the best teams in baseball have that. Even if they don't rely on it, even if the Garrett Whitlocks of the world that pitches, a couple times a week, 3 or 4 innings in the middle of the game are more important to the nerds, I still think that top rotation guy is something that you need. And as much as you said the pitchers that kept him in it, that's the hole that I see.
For sure.
That EEI article
right now is the reason they're starred. The pitching is the reason that's kept them in games. But this offense is still a top 6 or 7 offense in all of baseball.
They're gonna hit.
They're gonna hit. And I'm like I said, I'm not worried about the offense. Ray asked me last week when you were out, what's the biggest need or what's the biggest concern? I said starting pitching, but I said pitching, and I rephrased it to pitching as a whole. It's a big fucking need. Chris Sale's a big question mark. But my point to that was, was they did it the same thing last year and went to the ALCS without Chris Sale. Who did you lose?
Yeah.
Erod.
No.
And what did Erod do last year?
You are so you love Erod.
No, I'm just saying, who did you lose last year? You lost from last year, Erod and Garrett Richards. And what did they do last year? 2 piles of turds. Let them fucking rot in wherever the hell they are, Cincinnati or Texas and Detroit, I think. I don't even know where Richards is.
I don't know where he is either, but you would think with the acquisitions of Waka, even Rich Hill, and some of the guys in the bullpen that they can make up for that production. I mean, I get Erod. He comes and goes. They shouldn't miss him. Let me just read what they wrote on EEI about this bullpen.
It's laughable.
This was after the Yankee series. Quote: in securing the win, the Red Sox relief pitchers got the final 17 out. By the way, this is after the win, the only win of the series, and they're acting like they fucking swept them. They lost 2 out of 3, and
they're
they won.
So laughable. I don't even know who writes there. Bradford.
They carry the only. It's the only team in town WEEI carries is the Red Sox. So they pump their tires so deliberately, it's gross. And here's an example. They say, in securing the win, the Red Sox relief pitchers got the final 17 outs against the potent Yankees lineup, not giving up a single run. When the 3-game series was all said and done, the Red Sox bullpen faced 52 batters, allowing just 9 hits and 1 earned run. That's good. They go on to say, 2 weeks ago, Ryan Brazier's velocity was simply unacceptable. Cutter Crawford going to be a solid depth option in Worcester. Matt Strahm was a guy that a few Boston had seen, pitched thanks to his 6 2/3 inning in San Diego 2021. Hansel and Gretel Robles was pitching to 16-year-olds at the Red Sox Dominican Academy, and Diekman was a veteran who suddenly couldn't find his miles per hour on his slider and was walking the world. They go to say, well, the narratives have officially changed. There's no way to go. There's a ways to go before the Red Sox can stake claim to the no doubt about it collection of game enders. But when you land after the MLB's first wave of series with the best relievers ERA 0.69 in baseball, that's a pretty good start. Jesus, that was a glowing review for a team that just lost 2 out of 3 to your rival.
That is. Does the Red Sox own EEI now?
Like they're the EEI, they're the only team EEI covers. Sports have the Celtics, the Bruins, and the Patriots.
They got Patriots Monday where they get the interviews. They get the
all the Red Sox. All EEI has are the Red Sox, so they can't be pissing them off. They got to pump those tires. Oh my
god, this is like I like I said. I think I texted. I like the Diekman signing. I said, I think that's he's a good lefty. He can close for us. I think that's okay. And if you need a stopgap, he's a guy that could solidify the back end, but it's still, Austin Davis again gave up. Was disgusting.
How is that guy still on the team?
Yeah. It went Austin Davis, then Ryan Brazier, and then you lose by 2 runs because Javi Baez puts one into the seats off Brazier. And then today, I guess Whitlock came in, gave you 3, and then I came up here, so I didn't see the end of it where we started recording, but Whitlock's your stud. But again, if the usage like they've been using him last year, I don't expect to see him for 5 days, and he's going to piggyback off Rich Hill. That's not a way to run a bullpen. So, I mean, this is going to be the most ridiculous thing.
There's not any 2 arms in there. Like, Diekman, yeah, cool. Like him, good. You want to tell me that he's not going to run into a 3-week stretch where he kind of falls off and then you got to rely on somebody else? And how many games do you drop in between before you figure out the guy that's
upcoming schedule? So Detroit, you're 1-1 against. You have Minnesota at the start the homestand. You have Tampa and Toronto coming up. So you could be looking at the bottom in April. I mean, you got a losing record, and I picked you to. I actually, believe it or not, Rich, I said 90 in the baseball show, but you're still finishing 4th in that division. If you don't get off to a hot start, you got lucky last year winning 11 straight, 12 straight, or whatever it was.
Yeah, I remember last year they got swept by the Orioles in the first series, but this one feels a little bit different because of the competition.